Alright, this is North Texas L5R. I'm Yogo Dunzo, and we're back with another game. We have Sonoshi versus Kiseki. We saw Kiseki in the last game, was playing Commander Scorpion. Sonoshi appears to be playing Honor Lion. Mitsuko's an odd card to include in that. At the Hall of Victories, Chronicler of Conquests, and Akoma Prodigy can only mean one thing. And pardon me for opening a beverage. Kiseki passes first. We see a 3-bid from Sonoshi, a 5-bid from Kiseki. Silent One's Monastery can probably do a lot of work to slow down Lion here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Kiseki goes ahead and bows out the Mitsuko with Hige Sermon, and then we see a Ready for Battle and an Edict on the RFB. Okay. Interestingly enough, we see a Ninkatoshi on Sonoshi's side. That is going to make... I'm assuming that's in there for more defendability for Lion rather than the province weakening effect. Sonoshi goes in political water at the Silent One's Monastery. He is currently threatening a break because of Ninkatoshi. Silent One's Monastery being broken here is a pretty big step forward in Lion's game plan, because then he's no longer capped by how much honor he can gain. Kiseki defends it. I have to assume he's going to play some cards here to attempt to win it so that he doesn't have to deal with Mitsuko this turn. Ornate Fan comes down, which is pretty good. Sonoshi does not have an answer for it, or an answer that's worth playing. Kiseki gains an honor. That is pretty big for Scorpion not playing City of the Open Hand. They can keep playing cards that cost honor and just kind of fix it with help from the Lion. Well-timed Goblin Sneak past the Cute Nakoma trigger. Ninkatoshi's probably got to go. And I would definitely swing Earth or Void here. Hopefully Kiseki has the Bonsai. Hopefully Kiseki remembers that Ninkatoshi is making City 4 province strength, not 3. Mitsuko moves herself in to stop the honor loss. We do see a Bonsai. That is unfortunate. I think Kiseki forgot about the Ninkatoshi effect. So he is not breaking. Kiseki probably wondering why it's not saying that he's breaking. passes, loses an RTO, gets a keeper. All well and good. Probably see a political conflict now. For this one, I would go with the other good one, go Void. Get rid of that Mitsuko, who's going to be a problem. And end the turn with more than what you started honor-wise. Seeing another poke there. No defense, pass. I don't think it's worth the 2 cards you need to play to try and force a break if you have a Court Games or and an Ornate Fan. Pass. Mitsuko gets voided. Kiseki handily takes the favor of his turn. Pretty big start. Sonoshi pitches a Hall of Victories. I imagine Kiseki will keep the Yunako. That Master Tactician is going to be definitely a hurdle. We see not a great flip for Sonoshi. I don't think a Master Tactician from last turn, a Zentaro and a Motso, and 2 staging grounds and a favorable ground. Not super great since he doesn't have the fate to really make use of any of that. Buys the Master Tactician with 1, so we can expect to see a 1 bid here, since he's going to let him take a look at or play the top 3 cards anyway. And if Sonoshi has Tactical Ingenuity, he can just reshuffle if he doesn't like what he sees. Kiseki buys the Manipulator. I think we're going to see another 5 to 3 bid, is what the Manipulator tells me. Sonoshi has no incentive for bidding low. Bids 4. I guess he figures he might as well get the maximum amount of cards he can if he's only going to gain 2 honor. So City of the Witch Frog is a 6 pop and strength right now. I think that is definitely the one to focus on breaking if you can. Not that I think you'd overlay Zentaro on a Master Tactician. We see a Flying Katana come down early on Yunako, so we're probably going to see a military conflict. I assume that might be for Defend Your Honor. Just getting him above the Master Tactician. Kiseki's going in with 2. It's likely to be the Vice Proprietor and Yunako. He defends with the Master Tactician. This is really going to be military water. Open to bow out the Become a prodigy after a conflict. Political feels risky. Because that, okay, he's going political in case when he dishonors the vice proprietor for master tactician, he can overlay Centauro. Sanoshi probably looking at the top card. Oh, no, pops the favorable ground in as well to stop the vice proprietor from just outright being a problem. I think here you probably still trigger the vice proprietor and then use Yanako to switch your stats. Since that will put you to 4 or 5 to his 5. Watering doesn't feel super great. It might be worth it here just to eject Yunako out. Oh no, I mean you might as well use the vice provider and Yunako to possibly burn some resources from Sanoshi. We see an ornate fan come down. That doesn't feel too bad. Oh, we see a policy debate, because that's a terrible card. We see a Defend Your Honor from Yunako to a Tactician. Silent One's Monastery here can make things very interesting. I would probably fire a 5. We see another Defend Your Honor. Here we see a 5 and the policy debate's cancelled. There's an assassination to kill the prodigy. Presumably we'll see the vice proprietor triggered now. I have to imagine Kaseki is out of Defend Your Honors. Although he has seen about half of his deck, so... Staging Ground gets moved to Ninkatoshi. That's there solely for the card draw. Vice Proprietor gets used. Called to War. That feels interesting. Not sure why he's doing that now. Oh, that was off the top of his deck, so I believe he's digging for another policy debate. Kiseki should eject the vice proprietor out of there. You know, I don't know what the interface looks like for Master Tactician when you're looking at top cards of your deck. I should probably take a peek at it. We see another call to war. Not having a whole lot of luck with what he's finding there, but that Master Tactician is now going to stay around forever. I really think Kiseki needs to eject the vice proprietor and then use Yanako as protection against further policy debates. It might not matter, but it could be a very big deal. Tactical ingenuity. So now he can get one more card out of there and reshuffle. Can he still look at the top card? Yes, he can still look at the top card, but he can't play it. Oh, we see a calling in favors to take the tactical ingenuity. He is no longer breaking now, so he will need to use Yunako's ability. But he does get to replenish a card. Kiseki now out of money, so he can't play his own Prepare for War. Moves in the Manipulator. Has he used Yunako's ability and I missed it? He has not. That feels like it's a misplay. I'm assuming he's got an in-service to my lord. I think he also needs to trigger his tactical ingenuity now, which he does. Possibly going through that prompt, he may have realized he could have just swapped Yunako's stats. Takes a Hige Sermon, so we know that Master Tactician is likely to not do anything next turn, which is super useful. Oh, but he's still not breaking. He needs to swap stats. If he doesn't, this is going to be... He does not. I don't know if that's intentional or Ninkatoshi just being forgotten. So now we can see his Zentaro overlay. Yunako stands herself up. We do see the Zentaro overlay. I don't know, I feel that the Master Tactician is worth more than a Zentaro over the course of the 4 turns that card is going to be in play. I don't believe this deck, I don't believe the Scorpion deck runs a whole lot of holdings to make use of. And the ones it does run, I'm pretty sure they are sacrifice. Okay, we see Staging Ground's trigger gets a card out of it, which is good. Triggered again, see an LPB. I assume this is just for knowledge's sake of or him being able to know what's in his provinces and flush them out at the end of the turn. Pretty sure we're going to see Sadoshi do a conflict here. Probably Earth, political Earth. That feels weird because Yunako's already one bigger. I mean, I guess Yunako's one bigger in every aspect of it. Go political air. This is actually fine. Nope, fire. Okay. I was going to say air doesn't get Sonoshi anything because of Silent One's Monastery. It's already been used, if you will. So he can't gain any honor off the air ring. Instead goes for cards. Start punishing or restricting hand. He doesn't defend. Kiseki clearly wants to push a break on something. Let's see, on the swing back, Yunako is going to be a 6. So logistics is going to get moved to probably Ninkatoshi, or logistics is going to move the other staging ground to Ninkatoshi. But that'll probably happen at the end of the turn. Oh, loses a Hige Sermon. Kiseki can break any province he runs at just without playing any cards, which is very useful right now. I would definitely swing air. Goes fire instead. Taking another run at City of the Rich Frog. Even if Sonoshi uses logistics to move the staging ground back to it, it'll still break. I think leaving air on the table is risky, because if Sonoshi has a conflict character, Kiseki will end the turn at 1 honor, which is really not good. No defense. Forebears Echoes. Kiseki really needs an edict. He does not have one, so Sonoshi is again going to get to look at 3 cards if he can play them. But that does mean that the City of the Rich Frog is probably not going to break this turn. 2 tactical ingenuities on Yunako. Some dig for a card. Way of the Lion. It is unlikely that Kiseki is going to win now. I guess the upside is the Master Tactician is milling the deck a little bit. Not that that's really an upside. We see Hige's Sermon get found again. Ornate Fan gets put on Zentaro, because you might as well. Oh, that's clever. Way of the Lion sets base stats, and Junako switches base stats. So that Way of the Lion was basically blank, except now he's got a 10 political Master Tactician. That kind of stings. You are not going to win this one. Finger Jade Sneak. Prepare for war and suffer the consequences. We're probably going to see the Hige's Sermon get pitched. Oh no, sorry, we're probably going to see the Prepare for War go, because that will cause a 4-point swing and that will break City. Yep, that goes away, so Kiseki is now basically out of stuff. Kiseki passes. Sonoshi still has one Master Tactician. Draws the card he was looking at before. Gets a new one. And is the card he did? It's another Ornate Fan. But Kiseki is still winning the conflict, which means he will maintain favor, which is useful. Honored device proprietor. I just didn't want to lose a point of honor. It feels like Air would have accomplished the same and gotten you a fate. Kiseki is a little behind here. Not breaking City of the Rich Frog is starting to be a problem, since Sonoshi is now seeing turn and a half more conflict or dynasty cards. Oh, math is hard. He's seen a full 4 turns, a full turn of more dynasty cards. There's a Hall of Victories, a Favorable Grand Prodigy, and another Master Tactician. Up on Kiseki's side, we see Manipulator, Storehouse, Lion, and Alibi Artist, and Lost Papers that turns Zentaro sideways. Good timing. I assume here we just see the Master Tactician with a bunch. Master Tactician with nothing. I guess he wants the honor from the Prodigy. Nope. He needs the money. That's interesting. We see Alibi Artist with 1. The game's not going to end in a turn, I don't feel, so I would have put more on him. Well, I don't know the fate requirements of what's in Kiseki's hand. Actually, I can find that out. Okay, yeah. Ooh, we're going to see a Hige sermon played here. Since that is still in his hand, and that will Battle Master Tactician. So now the question is, can Kiseki pull off? There's a favorable ground, so Sonoshi will still get the card peak from Master Tactician on defense. This is hard. Have we seen Splash? Yeah, it's Crane Splash. Nope, we see a Slovenly Scavenger. Oh, we see some manually going on, so she did not mean to pass. The players are talking to themselves on a Discord channel, so I assume they hashed it out there. Kiseki passes, Sonoshi looking like he's going to go for military water. This being Lion, he's probably got a bonsai or sword in the way. So we see defense, the only defense possible. Bad news is this takes the watering off the table, so it's likely that Kiseki's only going to get one conflict. Oh no, he's got a Goblin Sneak in his hand that we saw. Which he will probably play outside the conflict. In comes Master Tactician. Downside is that means he can now only straighten Zentaro with it. But he's probably going to play a bunch of cards from the top of his deck and find one that will let him win the conflict. And there it is. Makeshift war camp. He had it in hand though. That's interesting. That can in fact die to a Calling in Favors. We see a bonsai come down, making that now a decisive defense. We have the Lion on the Master Tactician. Got the top card of his deck, so he didn't have much of a choice. Tactical Ingenuity, so if he doesn't like the top card of his deck, he can draw from the top 4 and shuffle, which is what he chooses to do. Takes a policy debate. That's bad news. Kiseki's going to lose a card from his hand here. Maybe. He could 5-bit it and still only lose 2 and force a draw. Fairly certain Sonoshi will remember that. He plays Tactical Ingenuity onto Yunako to help offset what's about to happen to him. And there's a policy debate. Now, 5 bids here. Oh, they both bid 1. Not a whole lot to worry about. You clearly take the Goblin Sneak to stop an attack. I do believe he's got keepers. He does have a keeper in event, so maybe not that. Calling in favors is a good one. He does take to calling in favors. Kiseki has nothing he can really do here, so he'll pass. Sonoshi still has one card, so the spirit card goes to Ninkatoshi to draw a card. So he drew a top card that he apparently could not play from Master Tactician, so he still has another card to look at. Kiseki passing because there's nothing he can do here. That is a mighty tempting Ninkatoshi. Staging ground, still not seeing things that are useful for him. I assume at this point we'll see Fine Katana come down from the Master Tactician and another Fine Katana. Losing this conflict is bad news bears for... I think you have to play the Goblin. I know even the Goblin Sneak isn't going to matter. Yep, I think Kiseki here just passes. Plays the Sneak at home to take his last fate. We're going to see Zentaro stand up. I do definitely think that Kiseki should go political air on the attack, just to take the fade off the table. Scavenger's probably going to get sacked here to shuffle his conflict discard pile. The Zentaro stands. Everything is as it should be. So you can go political air at City of the Rich Frog with the Alibi Artist and the Liar, and that'll cause a break and defense. He's attacking with 1, so now we find out this is where 7 Stings Heap can be really useful, because Sonoshi has to commit before he knows what's coming. And we're going to see an Earth conflict. He is not defending. Military Earth. Get the Keeper. Get some cards. I assume he's hoping for the top deck and in service to my lord, because getting that Yunako into one conflict this turn is a pretty big deal. There's nothing Sonoshi can do with no money. It's prepared for war, which is pretty good. Keeper comes in. I'm not sure what Kiseki is planning for his endgame here. Void to kill the Yunako from Sonoshi makes sense. At this point, I would actually probably let it go. He's been farming the crap out of that the entire game, and moving him onto something more punishing might make some difference. Kiseki's having to think about it, which makes sense. It's kind of an important thing. Defense with the Keeper. That feels risky because we've seen a Return to the Offense already discarded. If Sonoshi has one in his hand now, the Keeper is a great target for it. Although Sonoshi can only gain 1 honor off the duel, so Kiseki can 5-bid, but Sonoshi probably is aware of that and will bid higher, and even a 1-bid is enough. Formal invitation, going for a break. Yeah, I wouldn't have defended here. I would have let him take it. You've got to suffer the consequence in your hand so you can still, get some conflicts. You really need to get some breaks though. If Sonoshi has a Return to the Offense, that becomes much more difficult to do, and I know the Commander deck relies on breaks much more than Dishonor. We see the in-service to stand Yunako. So Kiseki will get to refill his hand here. And there's a Return to the Offense, which is going to make the swing back even harder. And because of the formal invitation, he is 5 higher, so no bids can alter what's about to happen. And they both bid 1, and so now Zentaro's going to be there for defense. And he has 6 defense now, or 6 political. Which means the liar and the alibi artist together are not enough to push a breakthrough. So she triggers Tactical Ingenuity, gets Logistics. Oh! Oh, there's the RFB. Do we see an edict? We do not see an edict. I think we've seen all 3 edicts, and they've jumped through. We've seen 1 edict. That's a little sad. That could have been huge if that had landed. Probably going to see Logistics played. So Yanako is going to die this turn. You've got 1 political conflict left. It could be 2. So Yanako is going to go in, call air by herself. I guess if you go in, well, no, he's got 3 tactical ingenuities he hasn't used yet, so chances are he's going to find another in-service. I would probably go fire on the first one. Going there at Nikitoshi, not breaking. You see a defense. So presumably he's going to fire all those tactical ingenuities and look for prepare for wars and in service. Because Kiseki really needs to start pushing some breaks through, and Sonoshi, with Someone's Monastery being gone, will now have an easier time gaining honor. Which is actually going to start happening now. He passes, because there's no reason not to. Then we're going to see all 3 tactical ingenuities fired to try and find solutions here. Find Akiriko, point out what he was looking for. Finds the in-service. Now all he really needs to do is find a prepare for war, and then he can push through a break. Finds an upper in-service, not as helpful. Switches skills. That is just for the conflict though. Yep. This is why I would have gone fire first. Because assuming you find the in-services, you can get her up significantly higher on the swing back, even the odds. Yep. Just an extra honor. I don't think Kiseki has anything in hand to really counter that. He passes, and Mushi passes, gains an honor off the Hall of Victories, which he could not have done if Silent One's Monastery was still up. At this point, Yanako goes back to being 2. He does not play Suffer for Consequences. Yeah, I think... No, wait, never mind. That would have still tied for glory if he'd in service to my lord. You're not going to stand up. Now Kiseki is in a rough spot. Lost Papers comes up on Sonoshi's side, so that does nothing. Dispatch to Nowhere is unfortunately timed, because Zentaro has 1. Vice Proprietor will probably do a good job keeping Zentaro sideways. But we do see another Master Tactician and a dupe for Zentaro. Those are probably going to be the purchases for Sonoshi. Oh no, he's got a Spirit Caller. He can get the Master Tactician that is in here for free instead. That's better. Oh, he buys another Spirit Caller, who gets promoted to a Gulag. That was wasted money on Sonoshi's part. I don't think he generally needed it though, so that's fine. The dispatch does give Sonoshi Passing Fate. We see Kiseki starting to dig for answers. Hand sizes have basically turned around from what they were a turn ago. I expect we'll see 1 bids from both of them. Kiseki's going to come in with 2. This can be a difficult thing for Sonoshi to defend. Anyone he defends with is going to get Vice Proprietored. Kiseki should probably... Well, if he goes political, Zentaro can come in after the fact. So if there's no defense, Kiseki probably wants to go military with a Vice Proprietor to stop the Spirit Call person from being as useful in the conflict. Kiseki's thinking about going in with the Keeper and the Goblin Sneak. I think he's reconsidering that and is now going political. That does mean Zentaro can just come in. Oh, he's just willing to let this go. feels interesting. Um, Kiseki takes it, honors the vice proprietor, effectively giving him 2 uses of it, uh, which means that we see just the Spirit Caller going on political. I would wager on Sonoshi having it ready for battle to deal with the block by a vice proprietor. Secret cache, it's a happy hit. So if Kiseki defends with the vice proprietor and uses it, Spirit Caller bows, and then Zentaro comes in with a lot. He'll be 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seems like Secret Cache is going to get broke here. Kiseki is just defending with enough to make Sonoshi have to do some kind of, or take some action to break. It seems pretty easy to me to just pull in the probably the Lion's Pride Brawler to bow the vice proprietor. Yeah, I would do that. Pull in the Lion's Pride Brawler, bow the vice proprietor, and then if you win, you bow the Goblin Sneak, and then if Kiseki wins, you use the box to bow the Goblin Sneak. And then that gives you a 3 break on military with Zentaro. And I think that's the line that Sonoshi is going to take. Kiseki's going to pass. LPB is going to do LPB things to the vice proprietor. And Sonoshi wins. Watering bows the sneak. We see an Elegant Tessin come down. Problem is, I don't think there's any attack that Kiseki can make here that is threatening enough to warrant a defense. So if he attacks, he is going to lose a province. I think if you attack, you have to go void. Yeah. I mean, if you defend, you're kind of screwed, but I don't think you have any other kind of out. Kiseki takes the easy win, void Centauro. We have seen some Call to Wars played, but they've been reshuffled. We see another Elegant Tessin. Sonoshi probably still going to attack just to get the extra card off of Tactical Ingenuity. Possibly top deck a Call to War and keep that Centauro around for possibly one more turn. We have only seen one Dispatch to Nowhere, and only one Lost Papers. But the Lost Papers would hit the Vice Provider. Sonoshi passes. Does he have the Call to War? Oh. Old time to play that. Okay. Probably going to go Earth. So the Zentaro gets moved. Draw a card. Probably digging for that Call to War to keep that Centauro alive for the dupe. And Sonoshi will be first player next turn. You're coming in with 5, it'll be 4. He defends with 9. Vice Proprietor is probably going to bow. The Zentaro, but then he still needs to come up with 2 more. Sorry, 3 more, because he still has a body there. And there's the Call to War. So that Centauro is going to stick around a turn. Unless Kaseki can force a break. And getting 3 here feels like it's going to be difficult. Kaseki passes. Okay. So Kaseki gets the favor. And we see Centauro get the fate from the Call to War. And line that Nikutoshi is holding so much. We see favorable ground. We see the Dispatch to Nowhere. Kills the Spirit Caller. That's not the worst thing in the world. Sonoshi has a lot of Mozos. We do see a Denmaru show up, which can be very useful. I think you buy that, and I think Sonoshi uses a storehouse. I guess he's waiting for the Seasons of War to fire. I think Kaseki should pop a storehouse here, or use an alibi artist, even better. Actually, no, using the. So now you play the Seasons of War. I would have liked it better if he used storehouse and then fired the Seasons. That Mozo would have less fate on it. We see a Dispatch, Seppuku Seeker, Lost Papers, doesn't fire from the Seasons. Satori can do okay. Kiseki bids 3, wants some cards. The players did forget to set a clock, and I let them know to take about 5 more minutes because they are right at about that point. Let's see, Motso's going to go in with water. Doesn't want to go to cash, runs the risk of finding effective deception. That's not the worst thing to find. It shouldn't be that hard for Lion to get the 1 extra force he needs. Break. He's got a Spirit Caller there. Actually, kind of an interesting defense that Kiseki has to do here because the Ally Artist is just going to get turned sideways. Defends with Denmaru. Decides to not defend with Denmaru. It just decides to let it go and pass. Trying to pull that in. I think you just say no with effective deception. Yep, effective defense deception cancels that. Kiriko bows Motso. This is going to force Sonoshi to play or to use a Spirit Caller. Which he does to get the Master Tactician to play all the cards and get a break. Incoming water means Spirit Caller is going to stand back up. Did not like the card on top of his deck, so storehouses it into his hand. And that ends it. Apparently could not play the other cards he was seeing, or the other card he was seeing. So here I think you go you got to go political with the Vice Proprietor. He's coming with 1. Oh, we just see Denmaru go Earth. Is lonesome. At Ninkatoshi. I think he's finally trying to get that punched through. There's Tactical Ingenuity for a break and a card. Takes an Edict, which is handy. And Kiseki finally pulls a break. Kiseki is dangerously close to dying from decking himself. Gets him a keeper. See, Political Air, Political Void, probably to kill that Denmaru. Cash feels odd. Because I assume you're going Void to kill Denmaru because he draws you a card, but you do that by going Cash, which gives him a card anyway. That feels better. Using Earth, Air, and Water. So Fire and Void. Probably concerned about hitting Shameful. So it passes. Kiseki probably just going to push forward on, what's he at, 6 to 5, and he'll lose 1 for that. Oh, we see In Service. Formal invitation on Mozo. Presumably that's to stop honor loss or suffer the consequences. And also, no, that's to make sure that Kiseki doesn't have anyone left at home to get another attack off of. Because he can harpoon in Mozo and use Mozo to pull in whatever character Kiseki leaves at home. You see Kiseki having to think about what ring to go. Decides to go Air. Come on, 5. Defends with 8. So when Kiseki uses the vice proprietor, he won't be winning. Kiseki passes. Probably just conceding it. He might be hoping that oh, there's a policy debate. And Kiseki just concedes because at this point he's going to die from being decked. Thank you for joining us, and we will catch you on the next one.